And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:32. This is the unofficial motto of the CIA, the seemingly glorified and looked up to agency that has been tasked with analyzing, processing, and gathering national security information from all around the world. The same secrecy that comes from housing some of the most classified information in the world also leaves for a lot of room for conspiracy theories. But how much evidence against those conspiracy theories does it take before people actually start to believe it's true? Well, I have one theory that I think is worth taking a deeper dive into, which is why today I will be persuading you all as to why the government was involved in the assassination of the 34th President John F. Kennedy. First, what happened, the flaws of the investigation, and how the truth continues to still be hidden today. Kennedy was a popular liberal president who at the time of his death was challenging the United States to embrace the civil rights as well as a new strategy for peace to end the Cold War. According to justsecurity.org, Kennedy had been detested in the Pentagon and the CIA as a weakling and a traitor, which only further made Kennedy's troubles even greater. But then, on November 22nd, 1963, Kennedy was fatally shot and killed while riding through Dallas's Dealey Plaza. Lee Harvey Oswald was quickly arrested and charged with the murder of JFK, but he immediately began claiming that he was just a patsy. Lee Harvey Oswald had just been coincidentally employed at the Texas School Book Depository building, which is where the shots were reportedly fired from, and was also a former Marine, so he was very familiar with firearms, making him the perfect patsy. But then, less than 24 hours after Oswald had been taken into custody, he was fatally shot and killed by a local club owner, Jack Ruby. Archives.com found evidence that the FBI Dallas office had received a phone call the previous night before from a man saying that he was part of a committee organized to assassinate Oswald. After Lee Harvey Oswald died, there was no one left to defend his name, so his past was ultimately dug up. The CIA, interestingly enough, said that they had Oswald under surveillance just 2 months earlier while he was in Mexico. Conversation.com places him in Mexico from September 27, 1963 to October 2, 1963, saying that he was going in between Cuban and Soviet embassies, frantically saying that he needed to get to Cuba. But then his whereabouts are not known for the last 3.5 days that he spent in Mexico. The agencies both later downplay their knowledge of Oswald to the Warren Commission, or the commission that was put in the Warren Commission, or the commission that was put in charge of investigating John F. Kennedy's death. Even though in Oswald's past he had left a threatening note for an FBI agent at the Bureau's office, the FBI was then afraid that they would be placed with the blame for not being able to prevent the assassination of JFK. So they destroyed the note and removed the agent's name from Oswald's address book that they gave to the commission. Although Oswald has enough interesting allegations against his name, arguably one of the most intriguing parts of this case is the Warren Commission. The Warren Commission, as I said earlier, was put together to investigate JFK's assassination. Lyndon B. Johnson put the commission together, and the members were hand-picked. Chief Justice Earl Warren was picked as the chair, but he turned down the position several times before finally accepting, and only accepting after Lyndon B. Johnson convinced him that if he did an inadequate report would result in public panic as well as possibly incite a nuclear war, according to History.com. Warren's reluctance to take the position really showed, and as well as did his closeness to the Kennedy family. Warren refused to show the commission photos of Kennedy's autopsy at one point, and even tried to block interviews between the commission commission members and people that Oswald could have had contact with when he was in Mexico, and even tried to block an interview between the commission and Jackie Kennedy. The CIA also failed to inform the commission of what it was doing, including several schemes to assassinate Fidel Castro. When the Warren Commission came to an end, they came out with an 888-page report that went into much detail as to how Kennedy was killed by Lee Harvey Oswald, but put little effort into explaining why. They only stated that his actions could not be explained, it judged by the standards of reasonable men. And although many people publicly gave their support for the report, there were many government officials that did not agree with some of its findings. History.com found that Gerald Ford actually leaked the name of the commission members that did not agree with the theory that the shot was fired from the Texas School Book Depository building, and was also in contact with the FBI director while the commission was at work, and was feeding him information before the report was released. The Warren Commission also came out with the single bullet theory, which says that one bullet went through JFK into the governor sitting in front of him, but many people do not agree with that, such as Lyndon B. Johnson, Robert Kennedy, and Congressman Hale Boggs. National Geographic found that in a 1979 report from the United States House of Representatives Committee of Assassinations that they found evidence from a Dallas police officer's radio that there was likely two shooters and that it was likely that the assassination likely involved a conspiracy. Today, there are many records that cannot be seen by the public eye, despite the JFK Records Act of 1992, stating that all records would be released by 2017. These efforts were blocked by Donald Trump, and he stated that he simply had no choice. And in a quote from justsecurity.org, he stated that an identifiable harm is of such gravity and outweighs the public interest of disclosure, although Judge John Tunheim, who is the former chair of the Assassinations Record Review Board, states that my assumption was that all records would simply be released in 2017. There is no legitimate reason to withhold information about how we collected information over 50 years ago. JFK was a loved president, and his assassination shook the world. His murder has many holes that continue to not be fully addressed. We may never know the whole truth with the continuation of overclassification and ulterior motives within government officials. One thing can be certain. This event opened America's eyes to the suspicious behavior seen behind JFK's death and the less than sufficient investigation. I hope one day all will be released and everyone will know what led to JFK's assassination, but as of now, we can only connect the dots they allow us to see.